Welcome back to Auto Atlanta, everybody. I'm Paul David. Today we're going to get into some more Q&A with Dr. 914. We're going to get into diagnosing bogging under acceleration. We're going to get into the one and only year Porsche used Naugahyde for their interior. We're going to get into plastic rivets. Can you reuse them? We're also going to get into windshield wiper diagnostics or issues, and then also door hinge pin fitment. And if you really stay till the end, you'll get Dr. 914's opinion on if he thinks dry ice is a good idea. Is it worth it, or is it too risky? Let's get into it.
Hi, everyone. George Hussey, Automobile Atlanta. They call me Dr. 914 because of my years and years and years, 48 of them, 50 of them dealing with the 914. Today, we're going to answer some more questions. Paul?
All right, so we have a follow-up from Wendy. She's been writing in a few questions over the past few weeks. She's having a little bit of trouble with her 914 four-cylinder with 40mm IDF Webers.
Oh, no, that's a problem to begin with. 914s were always fuel injected. Sorry to interrupt, Paul, but you know how I feel about that.
Yes.
Continue.
So she's got some bogging under acceleration. So we've asked her to check a few things like fuel and fuel quality. She did find a crimped fuel line, but she did report back to me since then the fuel is very clean. She pulled a spark plug, checked the spark, and she has none. She says, I think it's the coil since the plugs, wires, and battery are new. Here's what it sounds like when cranking. Please advise.
I heard that. The cranking sounds perfectly fine, Wendy. And if I was going to guess, the first thing I would say is that there's something wrong with the points. It is critically important that the points are set correctly with the dwell meter. And the 914 points dwell, that is how long the points are open as the rotor spins, is important to set to 50 degrees. That means the rotor will spin 50 degrees while the points are open and then close. If the dwell is not right, the thing won't, the engine will not spark correctly, and it's going to cause all kinds of problems. So I'll back up though. First, we have to make sure the valves are in adjustment and that you have good compression. And then the points need to be set correctly, and then the timing needs to be set correctly. So if all of that is dead on the money and your carb setup doesn't have any intake leaks, I would look at the jetting. 40s are good carbs for a 914, not 44s. They've got to be 40s, but then you have to get the carb jetting. And probably, I was going to guess, you need to look at the specs. The idle jet should be 45. The main jet should be 115. Emulsion tubes, I really can't remember because I don't study 914 four-cylinder carburation. But if all of that is on the money, the typical reason the car will bog down is because the carbs are not in adjustment. And that is, say, we say first, it's running on all four cylinders, but say the throttle linkage is not correct and you give it gas, one carb opens a little bit and the other doesn't because the throttle linkage is not adjusted. Need to look at that, make sure that is dead on the money. And if somebody said bogging and you wanted an instant answer, it would be that the timing is not advanced enough. But we already talked about that and assume that you've checked everything we had just talked about. But that's it.
Okay, so next up we have Buddy Martinson. He writes in on Facebook. He has a 1970 and he's working on his interior. The vinyl, according to the seller, was 1 year only, smooth texture option, and I believe he said on the 71 cars.
Good old Naugahyde, 1971 only. Volkswagen made a deal with an American company to provide vinyl for the interiors. All the other years, except for 71, had the German so-called stacked brick weave. 71, starting in January of 71, had smooth Naugahyde, which looked to me like cheap leather, and those interiors just don't really hack it like the nice stacked brick weave. But the Naugahyde was pretty tough material, and in fact, on several of our collector 914-6s that are 71 models, it has the Naugahyde. A neat historical fact about the 914, that they engaged an American company to put Naugahyde along with all the American cars like the Chevrolets and the Chryslers and Pontiacs and Oldsmobiles, and the 914 all had that Naugahyde interior. I particularly myself don't like it. It looks like cheap leather.
Okay, next up we have Mark Haynes. He writes in on Facebook. Does anyone have any experience with the 123 ignition on a 2-liter fuel injection car? Thinking about upgrading the engine as a 2056.
We have enough experience to say that thank God somebody came along finally with a modern distributor that eliminates the points and the trigger points for the 914. Great, great addition to your car. I actually, though, I wouldn't buy one unless you had a problem with distributor wear out, because the old points condenser trigger points work perfectly fine. But if your distributor's worn out and you want to really have a modern solution, that's it. Makes the car start easier, makes the car run more smoothly, eliminates a lot of problems like trigger point failure, distributor wobble, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Great. We've sold many, many, many of those distributors. And the fact, again, that it eliminates both the points and the trigger points eliminates most of the fuel injection problems and ignition problems for the 914. Yes, great, great item. Well worth the money.
Next up, we have Robert Matthews. He writes in on Facebook. Is there a way to remove the plastic riveted sill fasteners and reuse them, or must you punch the center pin in and they fall into the sill and you buy new ones?
Boy, you hit that on the money. Hit the center pin, drop it into the sill, and buy new ones. Trying to get those old rivets out and reuse them when they've already spread once to secure the rocker panel or the sill panel, they're just not worth it. Even though they're expensive, just not worth reusing. And then putting the new ones in is a hassle too, because you have to get a flat body hammer and try to tap the peg in and not miss, because it's so easy to do, and you have to usually rip the shaft out of the peg, open the peg a little bit, put the new shaft in the peg, and then put it into the sill and then tap it home. A mess. Takes a long time, but the result is well worth it. And recently, Porsche has come back out with the original black rivets. So now we can put black rivets rather than those opaque ones that we had to put in for the longest time and touch up with a magic marker. Buy new ones, put them in there, step back after hours of trying to install a total of, how many are 24, and look at how nice it looks.
Next up, we have Chris Tarasides. Writes in on Facebook from Germany. After removing and reinstalling the wiper switch on my 1973 US 914-4, I'm having a problem. The wipers are active in all positions. This wasn't the issue before I removed the switch. The switch itself doesn't seem to be defective, but it's designed to activate something in all positions.
Well, I would say that he's got intermittent windshield wipers, which is the relay. If you go down to the left cowl support inside the front trunk and pull the relay, it'll probably then work correctly, except it won't park. The reason that it's running all of the time is that the intermittent wipers are meant to use the ground to keep them on all the time and then swipe and stop and swipe and stop. So the lower left-hand screw engages with a little bit of a U-shaped clip to ground the intermittent relay so that it won't run constantly. A lot of 914s, as in the Tech Tip 700s with intermittent wiper relays, do a swipe once in a while out of the blue because it loses temporarily the ground, and I think that's your problem. You need to ground the lower left-hand screw with the little clip, the factory clip that you may have lost when you were putting the new wiper switch in, and that'll fix you right up. It's that easy.
Okay, next in, we had a VIP guest stop in yesterday.
Here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
John Morgan from Nashville. He was driving through and wanted to stop in and see the progress. He wanted me to run this by you. Why is the door hinge pin upside down? And how do you keep the pin seated in the correct position? He sees a gap and it looks like it's slipping out of position slightly downward.
Those things are in so tightly that there's no way they're going to slip, and they're put in on purpose that way so that you can get a tool in between the hinge and the pin to get it out if you ever want to get it out. That's why.
Excellent. All right, so now we have a generalized chatter on Facebook and the internet that we've been noticing lately. There's a lot of chatter about dry icing the car underneath. What are the risks and the value of dry icing underneath of your Porsche 914?
Dry icing is very, very expensive to do. These guys have come up with franchises and they charge you out the butt to dry ice the thing. But there are benefits. First of all, since dry ice, when hitting the surface, turns into a gas, there's no residue whatsoever. And all it does is add more carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, but it doesn't use a bunch of chemical and grease that will hit the ground that you've got to clean up. So you can keep your area very, very clean when you're dry icing something. The second thing is that it freezes the debris and the road grime and the grease to where it comes off very, very easily because of that. So it's a very effective cleaning method, and you can just sweep up what comes off there without a bunch of loose, watery grease that makes a big, giant mess. And it's very, very gentle, again, because it turns into a gas when it hits. It's very gentle on the components. So it's not like hitting it with a sandblaster where you're taking the finish off or ruining a very delicate part. All in all, it's just a really terrific way to clean parts, to clean up underneath your car. No doubt about it. As long as you can find somebody that will do it reasonably. I'm all for it. Except, again, and the environmentalists don't like the extra carbon dioxide added to the atmosphere.
Interesting. Excellent. Okay, so if we have, the next up is generalized again. If we have any Porsche enthusiast in the Atlanta area, is there a time or day that's better for them to stop by and see this establishment?
We always say stop by anytime. These days, I can't get the kids to come in on Saturday. I think that's worldwide. But I'd love you to come by Saturday. We can talk. I'll show you around as I have the time with other customers not here. And we've got a lot to show here. We really do. You may have seen some of the video tours, but since things are constantly changing, we never know what new car or what new part or what new restoration is upon us. So constantly changing, always great to see. And I'd love to see you. It'd make me happy for you to come by.
Excellent. All right, that's it then for this week. Please keep sending in questions, right?
Sure. Call in. We're always here. I'm always a phone call away. Right here.